Welcome to the JayGravesReport College Football Weekly Preview, Week 9. Y'all know how we get it in, so let's get it in. Previewing the top 5 ball games of the weekend, so let's get right to it. Let's go down to the SEC. Number 21, South Carolina, goes to number 5, Mizzou. Now, Mizzou comes into this ball game 7-0. At the beginning of the season, preseason rankings, they picked Mizzou to finish 6th in the SEC East. Now these boys are on top of the SEC East. Matter of fact, they got a 2-game lead on these Duns in the SEC East. Why? Because they running a spread offense. They went out there last weekend and blew the doors off of Florida, 36-17. Mizzou was probably one of the worst teams in the Big 12 every year. I keep telling boys, you run the spread, you put boys out on the island, you make it difficult for them. Now, once again, coming into this ball game, Jadeveon Clowney. He the real deal. Boys been talking about him all year, all preseason, all during the spring. Everybody talked about it. But what was the first thing I said to you when we started the season? He don't run the ball, he don't throw the ball, and he don't catch the ball. He gonna be insignificant in this game simply because they gonna spread him out. If they spread him out, he ain't out there playing corner, he not playing safety, and he can't do it all. All they gonna do is throw bubble screens and throw the ball away from him. I got Mizzou coming out of this ball game with a win. Let's move on to the next ball game. Let's stay in the SEC. Tennessee goes to Tuscaloosa and had to play the number 1 team in the country, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, Butch Jones got these boys rolling right now. They 4-3. They've lost a few games, but let's keep it real. They fumbled that joint away against Georgia a couple of weeks ago. Oh, dumb Rich Georgia. Now, last weekend, they went over ahead and closed the deal and beat South Carolina and old Jadeveon Clowney because he don't run the ball, he don't throw the ball, and he don't catch the ball. I keep trying to tell you. So now, but the problem is, Alabama is disciplined. They're the most disciplined team in the country. They're going to run the football. Let's keep it real. The Alabama running game with T.J. Yeldon and Kenyon Drake is ridiculous. The first 4 games of the season, they was only averaging 132 yards a game. Last 3 ball games, they've been averaging 271 yards a game. Problem is, Alabama got a 6-game winning streak against these Ducks where they averaging 174 yards on the ground against the Tennessee Volunteers. So now, no way they're going to be able to stop them because they're just going to continue to do what they've been doing. Nick Saban is going to stick with the formula, run it down their throats all night. Alabama comes out of here with a win. Let's move on to the next ball game. Let's go down to the Big 12. Number 10, Texas Tech, rolls in to Norman to play the number 15 Oklahoma Sooners. Now, the last time Texas Tech showed up in Norman undefeated was 2008. They came in 10-0 and got the doors blown off of them. Now, here's the problem that we run into this weekend. Texas Tech is averaging 41 points a game, putting up 548 yards a game, which is 6th in the country. They're putting up 416 yards in the air. That's a problem. Now, the problem is Oklahoma's defense is ranked 9th in the country, and they only giving up 293 yards per game and only giving up 149 in the air. So something got to give. Oklahoma hadn't lost but 5 ball games at the crib in 14 years. That's a problem. Now, we got problems on both ends. But if we got to pick one, I got to go with the Sooners at the crib because the stats and the numbers say, oh, you ain't going to lose at the crib. Very rarely they lose at the crib. Let's move on to the next ball game. Number 6, Stanford goes to number 25, Oregon State. Now, Oregon State comes into this joint 6-1. Stanford coming in 6-1. Let's move on to the next ball game. What are we doing talking about Oregon State? Oregon State is Oregon State. I don't care what the rankings is. I don't care what the doggone record is, Oregon State is Oregon State. They can line the gun up in the tree costume to beat Oregon State this weekend. Let's move on to the big ball game of the weekend. Number 12, UCLA goes to Austin Stadium in Eugene, Oregon, and plays the number 3 Parliament Funkadelic. Now, Jim Moore Jr. got these boys at UCLA rolling. Brad Huntley doing his thing. But what boys fail to realize is that DeAnthony Thomas will be back in uniform playing this weekend after 3 games off. This Dunn is the real deal. Marcus Mariota is the real deal. This Dunn has more than 2,000 yards, 19 touchdowns, 0 picks, bruh, and another 9 on the ground. The Parliament Funkadelic is ready to ride. It's your man Jay Graves Report with the JayGravesReport.com, or you can hit me up on Twitter at JayGravesReport and holla at your boy.